What's up, everybody? I believe it's working. I'm going to trust that it's working today and not ask a ton of questions. But looks like they got 5 people on, so 5 people to start with. Someone hit in the chat room. Let me see who's on. I can't see who's chatting until they say hello. So, but happy Friday or happy Tuesday already to everybody. I'm actually putting myself in direct competition with my Star Wars show, Skeleton Crew, and tonight's the last episode, and it's coming on right now. But I'm here instead, so if you have the chat room down there, somebody say hello or let me know who's in. And I see 6 people. It looks like 6 people right now, and this is what I wanted to talk about tonight. Uh, this the word LARP. I had no idea what the term LARPing was, or LARP, live action role play, which is cosplay, all this stuff. I should know this being a Star Wars fan or whatever. But anyway, um, I didn't know that's a thing like the term LARP. And so I'm curious who does know that, what you guys like. Does everybody know that but me, what LARP was? And 14 people viewing, but no one's saying anything in the chat room. Someone's got to say something, right? If the chat, I hope the chat room's working. Like I don't know. I typed hi. Let me type hello and see if. So I guess I'll just talk to the 15 people watching whether the chat room's working or not. um, the last episode we did, we were talking. I was talking about the whole apocalyptic thing and the end of the world. And wait, I think I see what might be wrong. Hold on a second. There it is. I see it all now. Beth Ann's there. Charlie's there. Oh, oh, Lisa's there. I know Lisa's name, Dave. So, all right. I'm so sorry. Maddie P, Jules, Jessica. Hi, guys. So, I'm so sorry. There's a button you can hit that has live chat versus top chat, and I'm new at this. Anyway, again, starting with the LARPing. Did you guys know what LARP means? Do you guys know what that is? So, this live action role playing thing, right? And on the last episode I did of this, I was talking to all of you guys uh, about my apocalyptic stuff and the end of the world, uh, and I think I mentioned about how I'd love to see the post-apocalyptic world and live in that Mad Max world. I said all this stuff, and then you know how your phones and everything hear you, right? And all if you say you want a hamburger, all of a sudden your phone shows you an ad for Burger King. So I started browsing YouTube right after the last live stream, and it said Wasteland LARP. And so Wasteland is a live action role play of this post apocalyptic world, and it looks just like Mad Max. And you go for the weekend, and I don't even know what to say about it. Like, have any of you guys seen this thing? It's fascinating to me. I took my kids once when they were very young to go see. We went to, what's it called? Star Wars Celebration. And you guys know that I think I'm a giant Star Wars fan. And Star Wars Celebration, they hold it once a year all over the world. And it was in Orlando, right before The Last Jedi came out. And we went, and the second I walked in that place, I realized that I'm not even close to the biggest Star Wars fan in the world. It's really humbling if you think you're a fan of something to go to something like this, where people literally flew from Japan and Australia in these costumes that they've spent their entire like year getting ready for, but it's still not live action role playing, right? It's just a bunch of people in Star Wars costumes getting together to celebrate Star Wars. Um, so I found out this about this by watching this LARP, and I can't like. I guess I've always known about the Renaissance fairs, but didn't realize. Again, I thought you just kind of dressed up and walked around and ate turkey or something like that. I didn't understand that it's a that you act shit out. I guess I just didn't know. But then again, there's this movie called Role Models that I love, and I guess they do it. The whole movie is based on one of the kids doing that, so I think I understand. And but so I started searching all this other stuff, and I'm asking you guys to just search this wasteland LARP they do out in the California desert, and um, I want to do it, but I don't want to get in the costume. I don't want to act it out. I don't want to act it out, but I want to go see this. And I think you have to, if you're going to walk into the gates, you have to wear the costume. I can't do that, man. I just can't do that. But but I want to be there and see it so bad. And you guys got to look it up. But so then I started typing LARP and watching all over the world. I guess a lot of it's Dungeons and Dragons type of stuff, and that Renaissance fair. You know, and to be honest with you, I was hoping to find a Star Wars type thing or something like that, and it just I didn't find anything Star Wars or sci-fi or futuristic other than Wasteland. But I know that they'll never know it's you. Yeah, that's a good point. This like the Civil War reenactments. I guess that might have probably been the first LARP ever, right? So I don't know. You know, someone in there said Boba, All right, and so Boba's not here, so he's not in this room. So I'm curious if you're talking about my Boba Fett thing back there. I've had that thing for a long, long time. I actually, in my band, some odd reason, we used to take that around with us and put it on the stage sometimes. Would Jessica's asked me would I do a Star Wars LARP? Oh my gosh, I don't know. Would you guys have any of you guys done it? Have any of you guys done it? And would you do it? That's what I would like to know. Somebody tell me that. You can do it, Beth Ann. I can't do it. I just can't. I'm I'm not an actor. Even a few times over the years where Brett has kind of suggested some different things, I can't fake it, man. Like we've had conversations about us getting older, and he suggested that I dye my goatee, and I just and plus now everybody's seen the gray, so it would look super fake if all of a sudden I showed up with it dyed. But I just I'm not that guy, man. I'm not a costume guy. Even in the '80s, man, it was very rare that I did anything to dress up like Motley Crue or Poison. I gave you the popcorn. You got this. I haven't, but I would love to. I love a good theme. You see role models with yes, well, Dave, that's what I'm talking about. Role models with Paul Rudd. The whole thing's LARP, and I guess I never knew that. So you know, but Dave, you've gone to Comic Con, so have you done this? And Jessica, which one would you do? A Renaissance one, or what would you do? Oh, there's Boba. uh, um, you know, it's just fascinating. I wanted to talk about it, and I wanted more engagement on other people and what they think that that is it. You know, Lisa, would you do it? Hey, am I allowed to say that it's Lisa, even though you have a code name up there? But the amount of time and effort that people put into this stuff is fascinating, and the money, like if you look at that thing I that I'm talking about, Wasteland, they have vehicles, and those vehicles look just like the Hollywood Mad Max stuff. It is it's fascinating. I don't know that Norman would do it. Norman's whole life's a role play, right? Not in a bad way. He is a fantastic human being, and I admire Norman. Me and him talk a lot. He does things that I I can't do. And this is one of those things. He can turn it on and become a character. He can be a rock and bass player, and then he can be Frank Sinatra the next second, and then he's in some colonial costume walking down the streets of Fredericksburg. I admire it, man. I admire it, but I can't do it. I'd rather do a fantasy or movie theme. But which one would you do, Jessica? Sounds bad, but I'm too bougie for old times. I don't. That's funny to call. I guess maybe you are bougie. Does Jim Brady think you're bougie at all? Who knows? So that's it. That's about LARP. So I don't know. We can move on to something else if you guys, how's everybody else and what. I know that we're supposed to get some more snow here, and that bums me out. But probably most of you guys have snow. I think that a lot of you guys live in the colder and northern areas, and uh, you know we didn't get any snow for a couple of years, and now we're going to get it nonstop. I'm also not big on dressing up. I struggle to go with Halloween parties. Correct. I can't, Dave. I can't do a Halloween party. I just can't do it. I don't know. I'm telling you, Beth Ann. I'm telling you, you only live once, and I believe in you. But the thing is, I don't want to do it. I do not want to dress up, but I want to go there. If it's supposed to, so here's my question: if it's post-apocalyptic, end of the world, and I'm me, right? So maybe I have this shirt and this hat. Maybe I lived through all of this, right? So this is what I could look like. I feel like that should apply, right? I don't have to wear a goat skull head or something like that. Who knows? Who knows? I was talking about the snow and then came right back to the LARP thing. Completely ridiculous. But I'm glad that Dave saw role models. Has anyone seen? I'm sure they do a Harry Potter one, Jessica. They have to do it. It just they would have to. So, and then back to the snow. So what else do we got tonight? What can we fill 50 more minutes with? Some kind of other topic? Anything on your guys' mind? You guys watching the California stuff? I have to. I'm not gonna knock. I was talking to Brett about this, and he's right. He's right in the middle of this stuff. When we're watching this on the news here, like just a few minutes ago, it said the Palisades fire is 13% confined, or it's. I don't know that is news. Like that's like, hey everybody, America just came in last at the Olympics. I don't know that reporting that it's only 13% contained is something anyone wants to hear. Report back to us when you've got it 85% contained. Like, what are they going to do? It's a horrible mess. I actually, believe it or not, Mark Torin from the Bullet Boys called me earlier today, and I never ever pick up the phone, but it was so strange that to see an incoming call from him instead of a text. And right away I thought, he's from California. Is there an emergency? Is there something that, and maybe he knows that I'm not there. So, and he had said that he'd been out doing good things and helping his locals, and his mother's in town. He's a local. He's not Mark from the Bullet Boys is born and raised in that area, so his whole family's still there. And he said it's just insane and apocalyptic, and his house hasn't burnt down or anything, but the devastation. They say it's more damage than the bomb on Hiroshima. It's just ridiculous, man. I don't. 13% contained, and wasn't that the first one that started? So it's been going for like a week now. I don't want to keep going with the doomsday stuff. There's got to be something else that can be far more interesting. Come play with Stet this year. I will play anywhere, anytime. Everybody knows that. Sarah's trying to get a hold of you. I lost your number. Maybe I don't have a phone anymore. I'm only communicatable through YouTube. That's the new way. So go and check it out. Get a mask that covers your face. If it did with a bunch of people, I don't know. I have a weird self-conscious. Sorry, I'm just reading some of the things. I'm back in the Cape. I hear you. So, Beth Ann, I'm imagining that you do this. Is that the case? Like, you've said so many things that makes me believe that you have done this LARP. So I'll wait and see. Who knows? I wonder what's happening on Skeleton Crew right now. And Dave, why aren't you watching it? My brother Dave's supposed to be a Star Wars fan. We've been to see Star Wars movies together. Canadian and an American coming together in a movie theater watching great movies. But I should be honored you're watching me instead of Skeleton Crew right now. You know, I don't know if you guys saw as far as Shining Soul goes. I don't know if you saw, but I'm so excited. We have these little tiny, little 3.5 ounce candles that I get to make now, and they're so cool. And with the wooden wicks, I could never make a candle that small, so I could never have a product that I could sell for like $10. Everything had to be a little bit more expensive. And I think that there's a market that I haven't been able to tap into to someone who might just want to buy a gift or whatever. And it's ridiculous. Today, when I started making those things, I made a post about it earlier, but I was excited today as the day I first started Shining Soul, simply because of looking at what I was able to do, what I was able to make, and I have a much bigger palette all of a sudden. My heart still breaks about the wood wicks. It's making me insane, but I have a bigger palette to create new art and different things and different products, and I just couldn't be more excited about it. So if you're, and I don't know if you guys saw today, I did I did this thing that I thought was a great idea, and I'm hoping it catches on. I'm going to have both Darren's going to do one with me. If you know Darren from Shining Soul, who now has Black Battle Mercantile, or also Brandy, who owns Lux in the City, women's boutique down there. But so I did this thing where we live stream and you follow me around, and I just drive and I hide something, and if you find what I hid, then you bring it back to the store that it's from. This is a way to promote Old Town downtown, and then you win $50. You get to keep the product you found, and you get to keep the product, and you get your $50. And I just thought, I don't know why I woke up actually in the middle of the night with this idea, just trying to find something different and unique to do. And I thought it would be interesting because a couple of people said to me, well, you're not really hiding it if you can watch watch yourself drive to where I'm putting it. But I think that's kind of the point. The point was more to me, of thinking people would play a game like almost like Simon Says. Remember Simon Says, where you'd hit to do the different things? I was more intrigued to think that someone could follow my driving path and try to picture where I was driving through town and go back and retrace that and go where that was the point I was trying to do. And I don't know. Oh, Teresa says it was fun. Yeah, it was cool. I'm gonna try to turn it into something better. But the funny part about it to me was I had Gavin in the car with me, and it occurred to me that Gavin didn't want to speak at all. He didn't. So what I realized as I was doing it is the awkward silence is I need someone in the car, because there has to be conversation in the car, and the conversation has to be entertaining while we're driving around. But I think it's a neat idea, and so glad you found the excitement again. It's nice to hear, Jessica and Dave. Like literally, like part of me thinks that after this and after I watch Star Wars, I'm going to go back down to the shop. But yeah, I was actually supposed to go to Arizona today, but that didn't happen. So I have the 4 gigs with Chad and Dean this weekend. I don't know if anyone that's on is going to be able to make any of those, but Mama Tamara, didn't someone do that around Valentine's Day one time? You guys left them. Yeah, we did do a hide the candle thing around Valentine's Day, but this was a much different thing because you could. It was more about tracing my path, and that's just it was about tracing my path. I got to tell you, I keep looking at my hair looks super bushy. I don't know why that is, but play guess the airport. I hear you, Jim. My buddy who does music festival in town, he does similar things with tickets, hides them. Right. I think that's just fun. I like a treasure hunt or a scavenger hunt. I think that kind of stuff's kind of cool, So, Wesley, what's up, buddy? How you doing? So I was talking about my gigs this weekend. Me and Chad and Dean and the Ultimate Acoustic Show. Where do we go? We start in Green Bay. Hopefully, Rob's going to join us and play a couple with us. So we go to Green Bay, then to Chicago, to the Arcada Theater in St. Charles, which is awesome if you guys have ever been there. But we're playing they have an acoustic room now that we're going to play at. And then, to Cedar Rapids, which my buddy has a bar called Double Z's, which is completely awesome. That's that. I don't want to say one's going to be more fun than the other. And then we go back to St. Louis to the hot spot. And interestingly enough, this this will be our third time as the Ultimate Acoustic Act being there. It's first place we've done 3 times. Double Z's we've done 4. Everywhere we've done, this is our second time. This is our third. And it's hard to believe that we're already on 2 and 3 stops with this thing, man. But I look so forward to it and have so much fun with it. If anyone watching it doesn't know, Chad Stewart is a drummer of Faster Pussycat, and me and him started the singing, and we added Dean in, and it's just, I think it's so much fun. It's one of those things where I want people to come and I want people to see it. Cedar Rapids, I'll be in Cedar Rapids Saturday. Right? Yes, Saturday is the Cedar Rapids show, and so come on, Beth Ann. It's been a long time. I think you should try to make your way out. St. Louis, Jules. We are in St. Louis on Sunday. Actually, I know Sunday's a weird time to play, but 4 days in a row we're out there. So he was cool. Who was cool? What did I say? Oh, Chad was cool. That's right. That's right, Lisa. Lisa came to me and Chad did this gig, and since Lisa's there, she can talk about this. This guy hired us for a birthday party out in the woods. Were we in Washington or Oregon, Lisa? I don't even know. But it was like the place you hunt for Bigfoot, out on this river, and it was in Washington. And Cape Coral, Florida. Geez, in 2 weeks, Beth, we're playing in Florida. We're playing in Sarasota, Tampa, and Orlando, all 3 days in a row. But we played this. Lisa, can you explain it a little bit? It was like when the power went off, it was pitch black and we were out in the woods, and pitch black. And I like that. You guys know that I like to do the camping and all that stuff. And but this was on a different level of black. None blacker. Isn't that something from Spinal Tap? Maybe, I don't know. After the BMB show in Montana. That's right, Washington State. Right. So anyway, my point to that is I love the acoustic thing, and anybody watching, if you get a chance to go see it or check it out, man, I would super appreciate if you guys did. I don't know when it's gonna go up for any of you guys. Hey Terry, Cedar Rapids. Oh, Cedar Rapids is Friday night. Arcata must be Saturday night. I don't even know. I know we start in Green Bay, and we're gonna rent a car. There's none more black. What's up, Kyle? This is my buddy Kyle, high school buddy. We've known each other a long, long time. Let me guys tell you about Kyle. Let me Kyle, pop a link down, post something. So Kyle is older than me. Are you 54 now? Kyle's 54 years old, I think. And we grew up together. He was a gigantic music fan. We worked at a record store together for a short time. And he went to school for sound engineering, and then he ended up in the music business on the label side of it. Until recently, he went into a different field. But Kyle never sang in his life. He wanted to be a singer. His brother was a singer. Kyle can tell you the story himself, but now he is a singer, and he's such an inspiration because he started singing, did some covers, got this band together, and he's doing it. If I'm correct, Kyle, the band is all over the world. So you guys make records digitally without even being around each other. Am I correct on that? Or was that some of the other projects that you've done? Anyway, Kyle Graves. But I'm begging you, man, plug it in there. his voice is magical, and he's such a natural talent at it. Oh, Angel, I do see your comments. Thank you very, very, very much. Um, Kyle, just tell everyone, type everyone a little bit, 4 different states, so all over the world. But uh, the band is great. You know, me and Kyle don't love exactly the same type of music, but we appreciate the different kind of music, and I appreciate his journey. But his journey should be an inspiration to anybody out there who is at an age where they think that it's, you know, the story "It's Never Too Late" is 100% true, and he's living proof of that. Because I think his band has won some awards already, and he's been doing this just a couple of years. 54 years old, starts singing, and in the genre and music that he makes, he's like winning awards and getting all kinds of praise and stuff like that. Tell him, Kyle, give him the links and tell him a little bit about your band, and anyone watching, just check it out. Just check it out, please. And here's what here's the thing I got to say again on the YouTube, the chatting is, I have to ask you, if you haven't subscribed already, to please subscribe. And I learned that I'm supposed to ask you to hit the bell and the like button. So there's 3 things. You have to hit the like button and all the different things. Subscribe, like button, and bell. And I'm this guy now. I'm this guy that was never going to be that guy, but I'm asking you to do that so I can build this up. And but I also need topics and stuff to talk about. If we're all supposed to be having a conversation, I don't want to just lead it with everything that I bring up. So someone else has got to be into into other topics too, or else it's always just going to be Star Wars, Shining Soul, and the end of the world. We have videos on YouTube under Echoverse. I couldn't get it out of my mouth. Echoverse is the name of his band, which is a super cool name. So the one thing I was going to tell you guys is, if you know what Metal Sludge is, I just did an interview with Metal Sludge. It might be up now, or it might be up in a day or two. And they asked me some questions, and it's one of my proudest interviews. I answered the questions better than I think I've ever answered the questions. But the one thing is, if you know Metal Sludge, the whole point of it is to kind of get you to rib people. And I'm not a big ribbing people thing, but they listed bands, and he wanted me to say a memory or a thought on a band. And Motley Crue was the first one they asked me about. So I'm so proud of my answer that I it's been a long time since I've been excited for, I do a lot of interviews, and I hope they entertain people, and I hope people read them. But my answer about Motley Crue, I just keep checking Metal Sludge, and wait for this interview, and I would love to see what you guys. I would love to know what you guys think of my response. My response to Faster Pussycat is, I was having a good day. As some days you're a good interview, and some days you're a bad interview, but I'm excited about it. But it may come out next week. I don't know, but I think it's going to come out any day. I know that Stevie Rochelle, that runs Metal Sludge, is on a flight right now to Thailand. I don't know if you guys watch. He goes to Thailand, and he sits in with these cover bands over there, and he's been doing this like all the time. I don't know if you follow him or not, but it's crazy. Stevie's just a wonderful guy, and does a lot of cool stuff. Did you tell them you love Nikki Sixx? Just wait, Lisa. You'll see. Pete, have you met any of your other childhood heroes? Wesley, that I've met them all. I've not met Paul Stanley, and I never met Edward Van Halen. I was in the same room with Edward Van Halen. I played Edward Van Halen's guitar on the Van Halen stage. He was 10 feet away from me. He was watching me play his guitar on his stage. I was watching him watch me. I went to the very last Van Halen rehearsal before the very first day of the reunion with David Lee Roth. The very first time the world had seen them back with David Lee Roth, I went to the last rehearsal, Charlotte, North Carolina. I was one of only 4 people in the entire indoor arena watching this rehearsal. Dave did not show up, and it was just Wolf, Ed, and Alex. I've told the story a million times. and and I was invited down by Edwards guitar tech Tom Weber. Tom was also CC DeVille's guitar tech. He's been Gavin Rosdale's tech. He's been Neil Sean's tech. He's one of the greatest guitar techs in the whole world, and he invited me to go down and see this, and I was so afraid that I'd heard I've heard I'd heard good and bad things about Edward. I've heard he was the greatest guy in the world, and I heard he was a super dick. And I just didn't need to know. That was the thing. I didn't need to know. I love Van Halen's music. I don't need to know if I like him or not. Um, so I didn't walk up and say hello to him. Uh, I think I thought maybe one day I would. I didn't know that we would lose him. And so I regret that. I regret that with every inch of my soul that he was 10 feet from me. And I had his guitar around my neck. And I didn't say hello. But other than him and Paul Stanley, Wesley, I've I don't know that there's a childhood hero that I wouldn't even say met. Most of them are my friends now. Most of them I chat with on a daily basis. I tell the story all the time. Uh, I, every time I have a text with Ace Frehley, I'm I contain myself with complete professionalism, but I lose my shit inside that I'm having a normal day to day conversation with the guy that uh, made me do everything I do. Every ounce of my soul started with that guy, and we chat about dumb stuff sometimes. you know. Uh, Let me see what Kyle just said. By the way, how am I halfway through Alex Van Halen's book and you haven't read it yet? Did we see the 5150 show together, or owe you two at the Capitol Center? All I remember is you lost your ever loving mind. So, Kyle, I don't think that you were at the 5150 show with me. It was on my birthday in 1986, and I was with Dina Leach, Travis Davis, and Valerie Meyer. However, OU812 was not at the Capitol Center. OU812 was at RFK. It was the Monster Rock Festival. And I do think you were there with me and Tom Bolton and Ray Buck and a bunch of other people. I believe you were there at that show March 4th or 5th of 1988. Yes, I remember all of that. Um, and and I did lose my shit. I lost my shit so much that I don't remember anything. I remember them playing Mine Oh Mine and When It's Love, and and I went crazy. In fact, it's funny that you bring that up, Kyle, because all over the news today they're tearing RFK down. Uh, I think they started the demolition today, and it's been on the news all day long. And I just see the building, and all I think about was that I saw Van Halen there. you know, uh, it was Kingdom Come, Scorpions, Metallica, Dokken, and Van Halen, and it was an awesome, yeah, definitely. So that's what it was. What is? Oh, because I keep saying I lost my shit. So what's up, Sarah? How you doing? Right behind Beth Ann. Did Beth Ann leave and then you came on? Is that how that goes? So I don't know. Uh, yeah, I was on to something else, but I get sidetracked. I get better at what the subjects I'm talking about are. So, by the way, this is my my good buddy Steve Frangidakis made this shirt, and I'm always afraid to wear it because, uh, as you guys know, Hugh McDonald and his wife Kelly. Hugh McDonald is the bass player for Bon Jovi, and his wife Kelly and their son Jake are true friends of mine, and Hugh's in Bon Jovi, but this is in Sambora We Trust, and then somewhere down in the shirt it says "fuck Shanks." And if you guys don't know, John Shanks is the guy that produces Bon Jovi records now, that everyone thinks forced Richie out of the band, and It's so unlike me to wear a shirt that would say something uh, negative. I also have the skid nose shirt though, and I would be more inclined to wear that than this. But I wear this for my buddy Steve because he believes in it. He's in a Bon Jovi tribute band, and he is as big a Richard Sambora fan as I am a Van Halen fan. And so in Sambora we trust. There you go. Wesley says, yeah, Metallica too. Wesley, were you there? Were you at the Monsters of Rock show? Who knows? So there you go. What else do we have today? I'm gonna have to just every day, like I did on the live stream, the second live stream. I made notes all day long of things I wanted to bring up, but all I wanted to do was this one. I want to do it once a week. I know I did the one the other day, but I just want the one I did the other day was just to see if anyone would show up on Saturday. Uh, you have great shirts. I see you, Janet. Tell Scott hello, um, if he's watching too. Um, and I want to do it once a week. I'm trying to do this once every Tuesday, and so I think I've done the first three too close together, and and I totally feeling like this one's not nearly as interesting. And I'm dying to think of some kind of topic to bring up, and yeah, so eventually you're gonna wear the skid nose shirt next time Sebastian sings with you guys. I don't know that Sebastian's ever singing with us again. He he said some things in the public recently that do not align with um, do not align with Brett's beliefs. And Brett, as sweet and as nice of a guy as Brett is, he's also a if you're not with me, you're against me type of guy. So when there's a certain disbelief in complete lifestyle, um, he basically Sebastian called Americans stupid. I don't know if you saw that, but he called Americans stupid, and that wasn't the right thing to do. So there's a lot of us that whether we like him or not, he's not on the roster anymore. So where are we playing in Cedar Rapids? It's a place called Double Z's. It's a cool bar, a lot of fun. I doubt we will be watching you next week on the cruise, but you never know. We should all go to the Sebastian shirt wearing. Well, I know, Lee. You know me. I'm not ever wearing a Trump shirt either. It's never going to happen. But you guys can. Oh, um, so if we're just letting my mind go, and then we're talking about the things that um, I I've gone 2 episodes, 3 episodes. This is the third episode without it coming up, and I'm going to bring it up. Is you guys know we're not going to talk about me personally, but we're going to talk about my involvement, my interest, and the parts of my life that have been affected by uh, the extraterrestrial phenomena, right? And I want to say that there's a guy named Whitley Strieber, and Whitley wrote a book in the 80s called Communion. And he is the grandfather of exposing the alien abduction phenomena. If any of you guys ever read my first book, I talk about, I say two things. I say anybody that has happened to, truly that they think it's happened to, they they don't go running to Oprah Winfrey or Jerry Springer. I used to use those two terms because that's back in the day when I first started to speak about this stuff. That's who was popular. But maybe now they don't go running to Joe Rogan, whatever. Um, but Whitley kicked the doors open and gave people a voice about the experience that didn't seem to be so sci-fi. And in the other thing in my book I say is that regardless of you what an experiencer thinks happens, they do believe it's happening. They believe it's happening. But there's a million things it could be. It could be psychological. It could just be, like being bipolar. It could be a syndrome. It could be, there's a million things it could be. But whatever it is that makes you believe it's happened, it it seems as real as eating a slice of pizza if you are one of those people. So, with that being said, let me get to my point. Hi, Candace. Um, I've had a lot of, I've said a lot of things over the years. This is something that's really important to me, actually. I've said a lot of things over the years from as early as 1978 when I was 5 years old. And there are people that have been with me my entire life, childhood friends, Darren, my buddy Mike Thompson, Chuck's been there for a long, long time, and and only a few people that I really, really trust to go as deep with things as that. And I'm about to open up a door, and I have to think about how I want to say this. There's been tons of things over the years that pop up on TV shows and different things, and they're based on theories that I've known my whole life to be true. Information that I have. Actually, it's funny, my friend Candace, I'll never forget one time Candace said to me, do you watch Ancient Aliens? And I think at the time I didn't know anything about it. I hadn't watched any of it, but she's the reason that I started watching. She told me about it, and I started watching it. And every time that guy opens his mouth, he says some shit that I've said before, and I watch it all the time, and Tina will tell you I'll scream at the TV because I'm like, I fucking said that 30 years ago, and everyone acts like it's this brand new information. So moving forward, my point to this is about Whitley Strieber is writing this. He wrote a book, and it's coming out in a couple of weeks. You can pre-order it now. Whitley Strieber, sorry. And there's also 3 or 4 other guys right now talking about the biology of a gray. And if you don't know what a gray is the common term for the most known extraterrestrial that has interaction with humans. And boy, I choose my words carefully when I choose to talk about this stuff. So my entire life, I've said that they're not beings like we're beings. What I've said is that picture you see, or if you've seen one face to face, it's a suit. And it's a suit just like a scuba suit. This is the best way that I explain it to the best comparison I can make. The one thing that everyone always has to understand is as human beings, we're limited to our imagination. So when we're trying to discuss things that we don't understand that are interdimensional or extraterrestrial, we're limited to what we know. And the universe is so much bigger than that. So it's much like when the ancients might have described something as magic that we know as science. So I've seen lots of things in Arizona, man. So I'm speaking so slowly about this. So I believe, and I've always believed my whole life, that what we see as the grays are an interdimensional being made of light. Everything's made of light. And they can travel through space, through whatever they travel through in their in the form of light is one thing. But much like when we want to go into the sea, we have to get into a scuba suit to get to live in the sea. If they want to manifest themselves and operate in our three-dimensional world, they have to get into this suit. But the suit is biological. So with just like the Iron Man suit, think of the Iron Man suit, but think about a species so far more advanced that they actually create a biological suit. So there are body parts in there, and there are organs, and there are things, but those organs, we're a machine. That's what we are. And if you're a religious person, you believe your soul is in this body. It's the exact same thing. The only difference is we don't manufacture this body. These beings on a different level manufacture that body, and they are able to get in this body to interact with us. And I have known that, and I have thought that my entire life. And I've told it to people, I've said it to people, and all of a sudden, Whitley Strieber's book, he was talking about it. It's exactly what he says. He explains it much better than I do, but it's exactly the orbs are the spirits or the light beings not in that body. Beth Ann, I'm just saying. You'd have to look up Whitley Strieber to talk about this stuff. But there's also another guy that has a channel called Area 52, a YouTube channel that I've been watching a lot. He's interesting. It's always the guys that are trying to debunk it and the guys that are skeptical, instead of some guy telling you that it's great and that it's wonderful and that they know everything. And this guy that runs this site, Area 52, he has a whole thing about the biology too, because something's leaked from somewhere, and it's the exact same thing. It talks exactly, and then there's a third one. I forget the third one, but so there's three guys right now coming out of nowhere with this information that has been in my head my entire life, and it's kind of making me crazy, because why didn't I get to tell that story? But the reason I don't get to tell that story is because I've always been careful who and what I talk to, and some of these other people are willing to go out and let this be their persona of who they are. But I'm fascinated that Whitley, who is one of the guys that I trust and one of the guys that I believe in, describes it as exactly as I've said it was the whole time. The other thing that I've always said, Brett's a phenomenal musician. He still sounds better than the majority. Right back in Brett sounds great. He never changes his voice. He can hit every note. 62 years old, almost 63, but what Brett was smart about, Wesley, was that Brett never sang out of his range. In the 80s, all the producers were pushing everyone to sing higher and do all this crazy stuff. And Brett is such a rebel, he refused to do it. He never sang out of his natural voice, so he will be 75 and be able to hit every note, just like Mick Jagger. He was such a Stones fan, he was smart enough to do that. So, I don't know, I jumped subject because I saw that. But anyway, if it's anything that interests you guys about all this stuff, because there's a lot of stuff coming in the future, all these people talk about disclosure if you're in this world, and there's too many people involved that don't know each other, that aren't involved with each other, that all sense that all the information we is coming this year. Like, some people think there's this one guy, Stephen Greer, who is leading the march in disclosure of what the government knows about the aliens. I don't care what the government knows. That's the thing about me, is I don't care about the UFOs. Again, the UFOs are just vehicles, right? I think I've said this in another podcast. It's absolutely ridiculous to think that what we perceive as metal in these little tiny ships is flying from star to star to star to star. It makes no sense. But what does make sense is, much like us, we we go to uh, we go to the coast and we get on a boat, and boats are made on the coast. So out of materials that work to get on a boat to travel across the sea, which is uncommon for us as land animals, much as these extraterrestrials are not earth animals. So it's my belief that, again, whatever means of travel they have in their spirit bodies or their light bodies to get here, that somewhere in our universe and somewhere in our solar system, maybe the backside of the moon, whatever it is where they're mining the materials to create those vehicles that they get in to come to our planet. Again, much like a submarine works underwater, that UFO works in our atmosphere. But a submarine doesn't work on land in air. So so they aren't traveling across the universe in that machine. We fly to the boat, then we get on the boat to go to the water. They do the same thing. They get here however they get here, and then they get in the UFO that's created by materials that we understand, the metals and the stuff that we understand in our solar system, and they use those vehicles created here to travel on our planet in those bodies, and that's just, it's a big deal to me, and I just wanted to get it off my chest. I wanted to get it off my chest. I've known this information all my life, and all of a sudden it's coming out all over the world, and I don't know what to do about it. I have no idea what to do about it, but I know it. And keep an eye out if you guys just search some of that stuff on YouTube, and some of it's such bullshit. Some of it is the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen in your life, and the claims and the ridiculous. One thing that me and Brett laugh about all the time is we watched some TV show one night about this guy that claimed he was abducted by aliens, and he starts describing the aliens, and he talks about one eye's going this way and one eye's going that way. I still have the video of it on my phone somewhere because it is absolutely ridiculous, and so you got to weed it out. And then those of us that feel like that's an important part of our lives, that's the reason that you don't talk about it, is because it's mixed with complete morons looking for attention. Maybe you're one of them and don't know it. Well, so interestingly enough, Lisa, I have another big part of that theory that we all are one of them, because it ties into religion, and it ties into all the creation stories and everything. Is, again, like I said, they're spirits, and they get into these vehicles, their bodies, and they come here. There's a whole concept and theory that Earth is a prison, and our bodies are the prisons, and our spirits are put in here. There's two theories of this: that it's a prison, and we're put here in these bodies to mine the gold and the silver and the different things for another species that needs that stuff to, if you're into alchemy or anything like that, that those special metals possess the ability to travel through time and do different things. It's really, really deep, and I don't have the communication skills to say what's all in my head. Other people can do it better. But the other theory is that we choose to do this. This is school that we choose to come to, and I've had this really crazy theory before that I don't talk a lot about because I think it might offend people. But say that this is a prison that we're in, and our other souls, our light beings, are out there, and they know we're here, and they want to break us out, right? Say we can't get out, they want to get us out. And what if certain incurable diseases like cancer are actually weapons that the spirits are using to free us from these bodies? It's hard. I know Kara passed from cancer. Bart Harris's mother passed from cancer. My brother passed from cancer. When you talk about love and family, it's it's insulting for me to say what I'm saying, but it's with all the science we have, it's weird to think something isn't curable, and it's also weird to think that um, no one really everything causes cancer, right? So what is it? What it's there's just this part of me that thinks that it's a weapon that the people that love us are using to get us out of these bodies, you know. And I say that because um, everybody that I've ever personally known to pass from cancer, and we're up. I'm up to 100, maybe 150 of my friends and family that I've lost to cancer in my life, and those people are the greatest people I've ever known as far as their spirits and their souls. For those of you guys that knew Kara, uh, Matt Davis's wife, there she was the epitome of a saint. She was nothing, no one I've ever met closer to what is supposed to be a saint. Uh, Bart Harris's mother, same thing, man. If you would have ever known Gloria, a phenomenal human being. Uh, you know, my brother Mike, out of every member of my family, there was not a single one of us with a kinder soul, a gentler soul, and just to be around my brother Mike was calming. And I could just go on and on. CJ, fucking CJ from Firehouse, what a loud personality, and sometimes even borderline arrogant. You would think, but when you sit down and talk to that guy, his spirit was amazing, and there was kindness and there was love, uh, and Jay Powell, my buddy Jay Powell, the singer that died this year, you could feel something around him that was just special, and it was kindness. And that doesn't mean he didn't have anger, and that didn't mean that there weren't, you know, for those religious sins and all this stuff. It doesn't mean there wasn't that. But but Nikki Sixx and Bobby Blotzer and myself and a whole bunch of other fucking world class assholes are alive and well. And you start doing the math if you're a deep thinker like me, and you start thinking about how this works, and it's like, did someone did someone free them? They did free them, because at the core of religion, I say that like it's offensive, but the core of Christianity is that your soul will be freed. That's what this journey is all about, right? So for me to say someone's using a can opener to get us out of the body, you know what? When you use a can opener to open the can to pour the juice in, that's a pretty violent action, right? If that can had nerves, that would fucking hurt. So I understand cancer hurts, but birth hurts, right? I'm not a woman, so I don't know, but I always ask, why does cancer strike so many amazing, great people? So explain it. You know, it's just, where's Janet? Oh, Kara. You know, but when you listen to everything that I say about the spirit and the earth, and and even though I relate it to extraterrestrials, it's the same. All the stories are the same. It's all still creation, and it's love, and it's light, and and the way out is kindness, and goodness. You know, we invented language. So God is just a word. What God is not a word, but God is a word. So if you like God and I like ET, I'm just using a different word. And and we got to figure that out. We have to figure that out on this planet, because all the stories are the same. Even the sci-fi extraterrestrial crazy bullshit, when you boil it down to it, there's a creator and there's a planet, and you're here, and eventually you get off this planet and go to a better place. It's all the same story. So I don't know, That's about it. I went deeper. I've planned my whole life to have this speech I just had, and it was going to go way better than that, and it was going to be on in front of a much bigger audience. Maybe someone will catch on and see this later and spread the word, and maybe it did make sense. And for that, I appreciate you guys listening to this. Hopefully, other times we do this are more fun than me dumping that on you. But maybe I also gave you guys something to think about tonight. Maybe I made something interesting, and maybe you'll look up Whitley Strieber, and maybe you'll look up Echoverse. Maybe you'll text me and tonight and tell me that that was the dumbest waste of your hour in your life. But I was glad you were here. And one last time, click the subscribe button if you already haven't, and click the like button and ring the bell and all those things Janet told me to do. And feel free to hit me up for those of you guys that text and communicate with me or chat with me on other different things, and anything that we could talk about and to find interesting and bring light to information to teach. Oh boy, there he is, Vaughn. I can't. So I was about to say goodbye, but Vaughn's here. And Vaughn, you have to tell me how long you've been in this room. Vaughn is an old friend of mine, and I'm gonna tell you guys a true story. As soon as Vaughn tells me how long he's been in the room, because Vaughn can communicate all this stuff I just said much better than me. And Vaughn lives in Hawaii, and I got to see him for the first time in a long time this year. And every day I'm still trying to figure out how to take our friends back. Okay, Vaughn's only been on 5 minutes, so he didn't see all this stuff. Vaughn, I just went on a 20-minute rant about the spirituality of the extraterrestrial phenomena, what their beings are, our bodies are made of, and what the how they travel across the universe, and the comparison to Christianity, and all these different things. You might have caught the tail end of it, but Vaughn has been enlightened since we were in high school. He's ridiculously ahead of his time and ahead of all of our time in his thinking, and he's been a huge inspiration to me my whole life of just being able to be deeper. But if you look, he says sweet looking green guitar in the background. So I'm going to tell you guys this story. That guitar, I got that guitar in 1986. When you're a kid and you're playing guitar back then, it was of the highest prestige to own an American made guitar. And that's a green BC Rich. And the irony that I ended up in Poison, I did not end up, I can't believe I even came. The irony that I ended up playing Poison music for a living and in Bret Michaels' band with that green guitar is so strange, because I'm such a CC DeVille fan. And in the Nothing But a Good Time video, CC had this exact guitar, except that he had yellow CC letters painted in it. But that is a BC Rich American-made ST3. And many people think that I bought that guitar because of CC DeVille, but I did not. I bought that guitar. My parents bought me that guitar in 1986. I used to dirt bike or BMX bike ride all the time, and BMX bikes had mag wheels and mushroom grips, for those that remember. And I had green. You had the colors. There was the yellows, the reds, and the neon greens. And my bike was neon green. We all had our colors, and I was neon green. So my parents had that guitar made for me by BC Rich. My license plate used to say BC Rich. It was a brand guitar that I was in love with. And I had a BC Rich Warlock before I had that guitar. And my parents had this American-made custom BC Rich ST3 made for me in the color of my bike. That is why I had that guitar. And that's why that guitar is on the cover of MTV Famous. And so anyway, Vaughn and me were in a band, and I was self-proclaimed Van Halen expert. I'm telling this story, I think, for the very first time ever, Vaughn, because I never really want to admit the truth of this. I've told versions of the story, but I don't know that I've ever just flat out admitted what I'm about to admit. So, uh, there's a Van Halen song called "Top Jimmy," and in the song it says, "Top Jimmy plays a real mean gig," but it also says "Top Jimmy and his rhythm pigs." There's two different versions of the lyric within the song. And most of us always thought that Top Jimmy was Jim Morrison. We thought that Dave's influence from the Doors was coming out in this song. And, Dave grew up in that area and would see the Doors play and made lots of mention of Jim Morrison in the early days. So arrogantly, many people thought this, but you couldn't convince me that I was not fucking right. And at the time in my life, this guitar, there was absolutely nothing more important to me than this instrument. This was gold and silver and platinum, and my parents bought it for me, and it went everywhere. It stayed in my car with me wherever I went. It went to school with me. It went to everywhere. I can't explain. I needed nothing else in the world but that guitar. And me and Vaughn getting this heated debate. You don't know what you're talking about. He's singing about this guy, Top Jimmy. The guy's name was Top Jimmy. He had a band called the Rhythm Pigs. You're fucking crazy. We didn't have the internet back then. We didn't have anything that I could instantly find out that was true. Somehow, Vaughn just fucking knew it. How? Who the fuck knows? I still don't know why or how you knew that. I don't know. Oh, Candace, tell her hello and happy, not yet our birthdays yet. um, so Vaughn said, "I will bet you that green guitar you're wrong." Hey, Tressa. And I took the fucking bet. I was so confident that I was right. I took the bet. And somehow, a week or two later, or a couple days, somehow Vaughn was able to 100% prove to me that it was true. He brought me a music mag from LA or something that had, I don't know how you proved it to me, Vaughn, but it was undeniable that he was right. So, with 100%, you lose the bet, right? So, that guitar, my prized possession of my childhood, technically belongs to my friend Vaughn. And the day ever comes that he decides that he needs it in his house, it goes to him. But he doesn't have any interest in it. I don't think he cares. But my green guitar, what's the, was it Autograph that had a song called My Girlfriend's Boyfriend Isn't Me? Or is it just, I think it was Autograph. I don't know. My girlfriend's boyfriend isn't me. Well, Pete's green guitar isn't Pete's. So, my buddy Vaughn, if he's still watching, there it is. I'm letting you know that guitar, I will call it my guitar till the day I die. But if I ever need to ship that to Hawaii, if you ever tune into something I'm doing and that guitar is not in the picture, it's because Vaughn has finally called it home, and rightfully so. It is his guitar. So anyway, there you guys go. I gotta go watch the Skeleton Crew. It's cool that you guys hang out with me and do this. Oh, I read a lot back then. It was music mags. We listened closely to this song, and you just handed me the guitar. Yeah. And then you handed it back, and I'm forever grateful. Yeah. Vaughn, by the way, these are my friends. I appreciate you joining me. Vaughn lives a life of seclusion on that island, and he lives a life of almost solitude and spirituality, and the fact that even though this isn't real life, it's a chat room. The fact that you came in here and hung out and even chatted is worth it. I thought this was the worst one I've done so far, and I thought this was useless. And but you came for some reason, and the fact that you came made the last hour absolutely worth it to me. Not that you guys did, and I'm grateful for all of you guys, but for whatever reason tonight, Vaughn joined us, and everybody, please say hello to my friend Vaughn. And Vaughn, these are my friends, and thanks for hanging out. Time to go watch the Skeleton Crew, and I'll chat with you guys later. Thank you for always being such incredible supporters of just me living. I mean, we're just sitting here talking. You guys support me by just hanging out with me, and I appreciate it. So we'll see you next Tuesday, and hopefully we'll have a lot of fun stuff to talk about. I'll see you guys.